This baby hits 88 miles per hour. You're gonna see some serious shit.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 32 of the Take One podcast. As always, I am your host, Mike, and I'm super excited for this episode 32, because we have a first-time guest on the show, Jess, aka Final Girl Jess. What's up? How are you?
Hi, good. Thank you for having me. I'm doing good.
Yeah, of course. Now, I know you're California time, so you're 3 hours
Yeah,
behind me. Do you have to
yes.
eat dinner yet, or are you holding off on dinner?
I'm holding off.
Yeah. I had to
Yeah.
rush. I've been doing Christmas shopping the past 2 days, and
Oh, yeah.
it's bonkers out there. All the
Yes.
lines in the stores are super long and the traffic is crazy. I'm like, now I'm like, this is the part that I love Christmas time, but this is the part that I
hmm
hate. Is
Yes.
all of this extra shit.
Have you
I hate
finished your Christmas shopping?
that. No.
Yeah, me too.
And I got off work Friday and I was like, I'm gonna get my Christmas shopping completed and done
Yeah.
this weekend. I'm gonna get it done early, which technically isn't early, but for me that's early. Usually I'm waiting to
Yeah.
I'm out shopping Christmas Eve still.
Same. I'm getting all the
So
gift cards, last minute gift cards.
that's what it is. That's what it
Yeah.
is, the gift cards. And but to answer your question, no.
Yeah.
I barely made a dent in what I was supposed to get done. So
hmm
pretty
Same
disappointing.
here.
But there's a lot of stuff that we're jumping into today on today's podcast. As you can see, the main topic, top 10 horror movies of 2022. Can't wait to dive into that. I watched a movie last night that I'm going to talk about too later on in the show that I was kind of late to, but I think it's going to make my top 10. So we'll see
Mm.
about that. But before we jump into anything else, I kind of want to kick off and, being that you're a first time guest, kind of just get to know you a
Yeah.
little bit, kind of how you kind of got started and just like the horror genre and stuff like that. So I guess my first question is, what was the horror movie, or, what was it that attracted you to, this beloved genre?
As far as movie, it's gonna probably be Scream. I feel like,
Nice.
yeah, that's my all-time favorite movie, but I feel like just in general, it started off, of course, with like the Goosebumps, Are You Afraid of the Dark? So that's how I got like introduced into like just like the love for horror, Halloween, all of that. So, but
Yeah.
Scream is the one that just got me to the love of horror.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love that. And I see you got a H2O
Oh
poster
yeah,
behind you.
all my
I think that's
posters.
what it
Yeah,
is. Okay, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That one's good too.
What's the other one up top? I can't tell
Um,
what that.
mm,
Oh, okay. Halloween 2, Goosebumps, and I can't tell the very top right one.
I think
But
that's Practical Magic. Just like,
okay,
like
nice.
Jawbreaker. I got a bunch of different movie ones in here.
No, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
So, before we jumped on, we kind of talked about that. It's been a super busy time, but you've been able to kind of start your own podcast, the Final
Yeah.
Girl Fever podcast. How's that going?
It's good. I mean, I'm still a noob. I'm learning, but it's a lot of work. So,
It is.
it's a lot of work, but it's so fun and I like it. I feel like it just helps me get like out of like just when I'm feeling like kind of like in a funk or something, it helps me like just get that creative, just I don't know, just gets me in my creative zone. And
Yeah.
of course, I love to talk about horror on there, anything Halloween, and VHS stuff, nostalgic 90s,
Yeah.
all that fun stuff.
I just started collecting VHSs
Oh, how
literally
cool.
2 weeks ago. I know I'm super excited to hop on that train.
Yeah.
So I found nowhere. I don't really have any good places near me, but I was able to find one spot that has they get VHSs in constantly, and I found
Ooh,
Jaws there, and Misery were the
okay.
last two that I picked up. So I was super hyped
Oh,
about those.
that's cool. Yeah. I just like that feeling, like that rush feeling where you just find like
Yeah.
a VHS or just like even if it's like one of your like favorite movies just out in the wild, just finding it, I just love that feeling.
Yeah, I think the first one I ever got was the 1989 Batman movie. Like, I love that movie, but I actually ordered that off of eBay, and
Mhm.
I will say, to your point, there is nothing like walking in
Yeah,
somewhere and coming across it. So I definitely enjoy that more. I don't order off of eBay when it comes to VHSs anymore, just
yeah,
because I like being able to, come across that and discover it. I think it's like, to your point, it's a hell of a feeling for sure.
yes.
What's
That nostalgic feeling.
what's like your holy grail VHS that you own?
Oh my gosh. There's so
And
many.
it could be for any reason. Like, it's your favorite movie, or it's like your favorite
Uh,
artwork.
okay. I want to say it's probably gonna be Ernest Scared Stupid.
Nice.
I love that movie. And then probably Scream. Those are my
Yeah,
faves.
that's the
Yeah.
one I'm searching for now. And
Scream?
I'm gonna find it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find it. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm super excited for it. So, before, speaking of Scream, well, I gotta ask, did you like the new one that came out this year?
Um, I mean, it made my list, so we'll see.
Nice. Well, I feel like that's a yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I liked
it's
it.
we'll talk about that. I just
Yeah.
wanted to, kind of tee that up because the new Scream 6 trailer came out this
Yes.
past week. And it was a teaser trailer. It wasn't, an official trailer that dropped. It was
Yeah.
just an official teaser trailer. So we knew it was going to be super short, and it was like right at a minute, like 59 seconds. Uh,
Hmm.
but I was super excited to see it. What did you think of it?
Okay. I'm not gonna lie. When I heard
Brutally
that,
honest.
yeah, I'm gonna be brutally honest. When I heard that this Scream 6 was gonna be based in New York, I was just kind of like off put. Um, I'm very old school. I like my Ghostface with Sydney in Woodsboro. But I watched this trailer like 15 times and it got me. It got me. Um,
Yeah.
I love the whole aesthetic of like the Halloween costumes, the eerie ghost face on the train. It
Hell
just
yeah.
like gave me the chills, and I was just like, oh yeah, here we go. Seeing all the cast there, and some new faces on there just made me like wonder, like, like this is gonna be good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of got that same feeling as well. I got like really dark tones from it too, and
Mm.
I was kind of like interested to see what they were gonna do, like putting it in New York, like how they were gonna be able to pull that off. Like, there were some things that excited me, like Ghostface being down in the subway and people getting chased in the subway. I thought that was a
Yeah.
pretty cool concept, which I'm sure we'll see in the movie. They're
Right.
obviously taking advantage of that whole like subway setting and the whole New York vibe. So obviously it looks like it's based around Halloween at some point
Hmm.
throughout the movie. So that's exciting as well. Um,
Yeah, something that Halloween Ends didn't do.
I have a feeling we're going to talk about that, and I don't know if that's
Yeah.
going to. I don't know your opinion on a lot of these movies, so like this is one of the reasons, like, because we've
That's a
talked, but
good thing.
we haven't
Yeah.
really like talked about like movies and really dived into movies. Are you on Letterbox?
Yeah, I just made mine, like started uploading like my, reviews on there. Starting
Yeah,
to get into it, so I'm like, why not? So can follow
yeah. I'm
me
gonna
on
have to
there.
follow you on there because
Yeah.
it's fun. I love doing that, and I
Yeah.
love reading other people's reviews as well. Some of them are just
Yeah.
absolutely hilarious too. Like,
That's why I was
they're
like,
honest reviews, but they're
that's gonna
hilarious
be
as shit.
me. I like to be a little
Yeah,
smart ass and funny in there, so if that's what you
a
guys
hun-
like, you can follow me on. Yeah.
100%. So, but yeah, I'm excited for the new Scream. I'm definitely one of those people who, again, going back to Halloween Ends, unfortunately, or just Halloween in general, or Universal in general.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like a lot of their movies are their trailers are just so long, and they ruin a lot of shit in their
Hmm.
trailers. And I'm definitely somebody who prefers these little shorter trailers and small trailers, which this is just a teaser trailer, so I'm sure we'll get a full length trailer here soon. Because we're really
Yeah.
only like 3 months out from this movie,
Yeah.
which is crazy. Time has just like flown by.
Are you gonna do like a watch, like how you did for the Halloween? I really like that you did that, like the road to Halloween ends, or
Oh,
you know.
yeah, probably. I might do that, and I don't know. I appreciate you saying that. That was a beast. Halloween has a lot of movies
I
in it, and
bet.
it's a pain. I don't want to say it's a pain, but it's a lot of work, like, getting all the
Yeah.
guests on and making sure
Yeah.
everybody's schedule is free, and that was tough. Now with Scream, you don't have that many movies. You only have 5, so
Yeah.
it's a lot easier. But
Hmm.
I definitely think that's something I would do, or
That's
I'm gonna
so,
do. Appreciate
yeah,
that.
that was fun.
I might have to Venmo you some money for giving me that
The
that thought in my head. But
idea.
yeah, the idea. And I don't know, I was thinking I definitely wanted to do like watch alongs as well for Scream.
Yeah.
Um, on the channel live. So I'll probably do that, and then I'll probably do like podcast wise. I'll jump into all 5 of the films as well. So, but it's crazy. It's like, man. First off, this year has just gone by so fast.
It
Um,
has.
like I can't believe next weekend is Christmas, and I can't believe that we're only 3 months away from another Scream movie. Like,
Yeah.
no matter my opinions on the last one, like I was super excited to see Ghostface on screen. Um, so moving off Scream, I know
Hmm.
you watched this movie, so I want to talk about
Yeah.
this. What did you think of Christmas Bloody Christmas?
Okay. At first, again, I'm always like this at first, complaining. No, but at first, it just took me a while to like it. And then
Yeah,
it just, I mean, there was 35, 45 minutes because I counted of dialogue, like flirty dialogue, and I was like, what the heck?
yeah,
Um, but after that, I mean, I liked it. It was very like that cheesy, like Chucky Terminator vibe, Santa. I love the cinematography. The angles were beautiful that the film was shot at, and then
yeah.
the pops of color, the neon, the blood splatter. I loved all of that. As soon as like it got past that 35, 45 minute mark, I was like, okay, here we go. Yeah.
Yeah, and people who I talk to who've watched the movie, and like myself included, like um kind of feel the same way. Like it gets off really,
Yeah.
really slow. The dialogue is just way too long. Um, but I mean, once it picks up, I think the kills are amazing in this movie. Like the
Yeah.
the killer, the robot Santa. I thought that
Yeah.
that was really cool and kind of different to see. And I like the actors in this movie. Like I really enjoyed like you know
Yeah.
getting to know them in the beginning. It was
Yeah.
just like way too long. Like they
Yeah.
should have just chopped like 15 minutes off of that.
I
10 to
agree.
15 minutes. Like it would have
Because I did
helped
enjoy, yeah.
tremendously.
Yeah, I enjoyed the characters, like just their chemistry on screen. I thought it was really good and fun, but then after
Yeah,
a while I was like,
yeah.
okay, come on, like wrap it up. But yeah.
Yeah, no. Absolutely. I thought it was it was so funny when they got back to the house and they were like, you know, I don't want to call it a sex scene because
Yeah.
he ain't really getting on. I mean, we're being honest, he ain't
Yeah.
getting on. But I just like the way that was shot. Like one, the
Yeah.
music that was in the background and how it kept going back and forth between the guy, I think I think it was on the very bottom, and that from there on the kills were just fucking brutal.
Yeah.
It
I
was just
enjoy
like
that. I
one of those
enjoy.
it was just like one of those movies, honestly, I didn't think I would like. I was like, no,
Yeah.
it's just another corny Shudder movie, which I love Shudder. No offense to them. I'm just saying, like, it's probably just one of those
Yeah.
movies, one of those other Christmas movies that are just not going to hit for me. But
Yeah.
shockingly, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot more
Yeah.
than I thought I would.
Yeah. It grew on me after a while, after I sat with my thoughts and I was like, you know what? It was actually pretty good. Like, just like those
Yeah.
cheesy movies you throw on during, the holidays, or you're like, oh, let me watch this.
Oh yeah,
Um,
it's like
yeah, it
one
was
of
good.
those fun watches. Like it's not gonna like win an Oscar or anything like that, or it's
Yeah.
not gonna be like in your top horror movies ever or anything like
Yeah.
that. It's just one of those fun watches that you can just throw on
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Agreed.
Um, so I was sick really bad probably 2 weekends ago. Like I was like
Mm.
bed rested. Like it was terrible. I haven't been sick in that long. Like it
Yeah.
was bad. But I bring this up because I wanted to talk to somebody about this. And
Oh,
you
you need a
were, I
vent?
think,
I was
yes,
like, you
I
need a vent?
do. I do. Because I don't know where the hell I was in middle school. I don't know what grade I would have been in, but Laguna Beach.
Oh,
Never
okay.
heard of it.
Okay.
I've heard of the hills, but I'd never heard of Laguna Beach. So I
What?
was like, I
Are you
know,
serious?
I'm serious.
Wait, how old are
I'm
you? How old are you?
28 or 29.
Okay, so I'm 31.
I mean,
Yeah, so it's like
I'll stick with 28. I'll stick with 28. But yeah, I mean, I might have heard people talking about it before, but like when I thought
yeah.
of Lauren Conrad, like I just thought of the hills. Like I just knew the hills for
Oh,
whatever
okay.
reason. I didn't watch the hills back then. Like I maybe saw a couple
Yeah.
episodes, but I was just like on my fourth day being sick, and like I just was like going
That's good.
through and put on Laguna Beach. I was like, what's this new
Yeah.
show? At first I thought it was new, and then I saw the quality of the show and I was like, okay, this is let me go back and read the description. So
Yeah.
I read it and I
Yeah.
was like, Lauren Conrad, like I know
Yeah.
her. And so I was like,
Mm,
so I watched it. I was hooked. I liked it.
yeah.
Um
It's a good show.
and I saw that you were watching it not too long ago as well.
Yeah.
That's why, we kind of talked about it a little bit, but I want to talk about it on here. Did you had you seen it before? Like this, you were
Yes,
just
it was
rewatching it?
that. I feel like this was my middle school personality. Like,
Really?
like it was Team Kristen, Team Lauren, you know.
Don't answer that
Wait,
yet. Don't answer what team
I,
you
I
are
was just
yet.
gonna
But go
ask
ahead.
you. I was like, what team were you on? Okay,
Not yet. Not yet.
that's
Not
what I
yet.
wanted to ask you. I was like, I have to ask you. Okay, but yeah, like I love that show, like their whole style, like the jeans with the tank tops and just like their straight like ironed hair just like in their face like that. Like that was me and that was me in middle school. Yeah.
Man,
It
like
was it was fun. I'm watching it again, so it's very what was it, early 2000s? Yeah, it was like
like
2000.
2004, 2005, I think. So,
Oh wow.
um, because I was listening to an interview of Steven, and
Oh yeah.
he finished up shooting that in 2006, and then like 2007 went and did One Tree Hill, and I was like, that's where I know him from, because I watched that show. Like
Oh,
I was like, oh yeah, like I knew him from somewhere, but I didn't know that he
I
got
don't
his
know.
start
Yeah.
on reality TV. Like I
I
didn't
didn't know
know
he
it.
was on One Tree Hill either though. That's crazy.
Yeah. Um, a lot of these shows that I do come across and watch, like they're just shows I never thought I would enjoy
Mm-hmm.
liking, especially reality TV. I'm not the biggest reality TV. The only reality TV show that I religiously watched was Jersey Shore, because like when
Oh yeah.
that was that was the thing in high school. Like
Yeah.
social media wasn't huge then, so like you came to school the
Uh,
next day and like that's what you talked about. Like,
I
yo,
still
did you see?
quote Jersey Shore
Yes,
till this
like, yo,
day.
did you
Yeah.
see Sammy and JWoww fight? It's
Yeah.
like, yo, who wrote the note? Who wrote the note?
Yeah.
But
Oh.
yeah, I enjoyed Laguna Beach. Like I was talking about it on my last podcast. I think I
Mhm.
just found myself like next thing I know it's like 2:30 in the morning and I'm already done with
Oh.
season one. I'm like,
I was just
I
gonna
gotta
ask
go.
you, did you finish watching all the seasons?
So I only saw the first two. There's a third
Okay.
season,
Okay.
correct?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think there's only two on Netflix. There might be a third.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
can't
I
remember.
think there was a third. Yeah.
I know there definitely was a third. I just don't know if it's on Netflix. But I know
Okay.
the
Yeah. I
first
don't think
two
so.
seasons of that are on Netflix. So once I finished that, I went straight into The Hills, and I
The
went
Hills.
like, man, I'm on like season 3. I haven't watched it in like a week and a half, just because there's been other stuff that I wanted to watch. But
Yeah.
that's pretty good too. And it's crazy because like once I find like stuff like this, or like even in movies, like I'll go to YouTube and I'll like type in like what are they doing now, or has anybody talked about this show
Yeah.
recently? And I know Steven and Kristen have a podcast now that
I
they do
actually listened to
together.
it. It's good.
Do
It's
you?
good.
Is it good?
Yeah.
I
It's good.
watched the only episode that I listened to was when they brought Lauren on. Because I haven't made it all the way through The Hills, so I don't know like
Okay.
if Lauren and Kristen like ever make up or ever talk. So I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting because from
Yeah.
my perspective, they hate each other. And
Right.
then, on the podcast, everything seemed pretty good. But, they're a lot older now and, with families. So I don't know. I just
Yeah.
thought that was, I don't know. I was just shocked that, I watched that I liked that show. Did you watch The Hills too? Like, were you into
Yeah.
that?
Yes, I
Yeah.
was into all of it, all of that stuff. I still
It's
am. That's why
like,
I'm listening to their podcast. I can't.
like
It's like it's
I
like
just see it. I just see it on your face, like the shock. Like, yo, do you not know? Like, were you under a rock? Like, I
I
was
know.
at
I was
dinner
like,
with my
where?
sister. I was at dinner with my sister the other night, and she was like, "You were watching The Hills." I'm like, "How do you know that based off of a picture?" She was like, "Dude, I lived in
I
The
mean,
Hills. Like, that was me. Like,
yeah.
I copied what Lauren Conrad was wearing. Like that. I wanted to. Like, that was something that I
Yes.
watched religiously. I'm like, well, where the hell was I at? Like,
What were you
I
watching in
just don't.
middle school?
I don't know. Saved by the Bell, Boy Meets World, stuff like that.
Okay, okay.
Horror
Horror
movies.
movies.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I don't know. Okay. So what show do you like better, Laguna Beach or The Hills?
Mm, I don't know. I feel like based on like different eras of my life. So like middle school me would probably say Laguna Beach, but like
Yeah.
now being older, I'm gonna say the Hills.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, they both, I feel like equal. There's an equal balance, but of course you like to see that drama play out on reality TV. So
Man, I was just sitting there some nights. I'm like, man, that was toxic. And then I'm sitting there thinking I had a boring high school life compared to these people. Like Cabo for spring break.
Oh, I was just gonna say that, yeah.
I went to the local Burger King for spring break, and that's about it.
Yeah,
And like just hung out with my friends. Like I didn't go
yeah,
to damn Cabo for spring break. Talk about living the life as a
yeah.
teenager, though.
I know. Laguna Beach. Laguna Beach is
Okay.
not too far from me. I've been there before, so it's
Oh,
definitely how
really?
it is. Yeah, that bougie
Well,
lifestyle.
well, they say that it's a lot smaller of a community than like what it puts off as. Like it's like everybody
Yeah.
kind of knows each other. Like it's not like
Mm-hmm.
a Los Angeles where it's like
Oh, yeah.
huge.
Yeah, for sure. But okay, so I have to know, are you team Lauren or are you team Kristen?
This this is a complex question, and a complex answer, I guess. I would have to say, like, if you put a gun to my head, I would have to say Team Lauren.
Oh,
I was Team Lauren very early,
yeah.
and I hated. I thought Kristen was super super annoying, but
Yeah.
like following like Kristen like now, like I don't know, like I think show wise I have to go Team Lauren, but
Mm,
I think now today I like Kristen a little more.
yeah.
Um, I don't, I don't know. It all depends on like they've been talking about on the podcast, like how they're portrayed as well.
Yeah.
Like, is that really
Yeah.
like that really throws it off too. I definitely think wherever Lauren went, there was drama for
Yeah.
sure. But like,
I don't know, maybe she
I,
was a toxic one.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Maybe she was, but like
Mm.
when I went over to the hills, like I'm just like Spencer, like you want to talk about toxic? That dude's like
Oh,
toxic of
yeah.
toxic. I I'm just sitting there wondering, like, is this really how he is, or like is this like just for show, for play?
I could never
But
tell. Yeah.
I could never tell either. And then everybody loves him now. He's obviously matured, but Jason,
Oh my
um,
gosh.
I did he was a douche on
Yeah,
Laguna
he was.
Beach. But
Yeah.
everybody
I
seems
was
to love
just, yeah.
him, and so Um, I have to go Team Lauren if you put a gun on my head, though. It's a lot
Okay.
closer than what I remember it being, like, because I just knew of Lauren. I didn't really know too much about Kristen.
Yeah.
But you look disappointed. So are you Team
Yeah,
Kristen?
I'm disappointed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm team Kristen. Yeah. I feel like she's just more
Well, yeah.
straightforward and just doesn't hide like her personality or, shelter. She likes to have fun, bubbly. Um, not that
That's
I
true.
didn't like Lauren because I feel like in some aspects she was more reserved, more sweeter and
Quiet.
softer, quieter. Yeah.
I just feel like she
But
didn't do shit. Like,
yeah. But I mean, we didn't
uh,
see that on the screen, so I don't know.
true. And definitely polar opposite from Kristen.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, I don't know. I'm excited to. to get through it. I think I'm on. I think I'm on season 3. So I don't know
Okay.
how much more happens. I don't even know how many more seasons there are of The Hills.
That's so
So
funny. I can't believe you're
I
watching
know.
that. That's so
I
cool.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how long it takes for me to finish now, because like it's gonna be hard for me to get back on that train, just because like I don't know. I'm more of like a huge binge watcher, so I usually watch things all the way
Yeah.
through. And for whatever reason, I got off of it. So hopefully I can
Well,
get
because you
back
were
on it. I'm sure I
sick.
will.
So
True. I
you
mean,
started
yeah,
watching when you were
true.
sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. Okay, so I think it's time to jump into these movies. I'm excited to dive into these. I definitely think the list for me will probably be a little controversial, especially from where I place these. But before we dive into it, um, what did you think of 2022 as far as like horror movie, like the
I
year for horror?
felt I was just thinking about that earlier, so I'm glad you asked that. I thought it was. I think horror got a lot of love this year. Whether people loved it or didn't, there's like love hate, like a lot of
Yeah,
controversy around a lot of movies. A lot of big movies came out, this year.
yeah,
But I thought it was a good year for horror. What
I
about
did
you?
too.
Yeah.
I thought it was really good. Um, One of my good friends, Kevin. I know you know Kevin.
Hmm.
He did not. He disagreed. Um, I think there's only 4 movies he said he really enjoyed.
Okay.
So, I don't know. I'm excited to dive into your list. I
Yeah.
thought it was good, and there's some movies on this list that I didn't think that I was going to like, and I ended up really liking them a lot more than
Yeah.
expected, which is always good. And then there are movies that just really disappointed me that didn't even make my list. So
Yeah. I'm excited to hear your list. I'm like,
yeah,
are
so
we gonna
we're
fi-
gonna
are we gonna
go.
fight?
I don't know. Do you have Halloween ends on your list? No, I'm just playing. So we're gonna go 10, 10, 9, 9, kind of like that all the
Okay.
way up to
Okay.
1. And being that
Okay.
you, Miss Jess, are the special guest, you get to go first. So what is number 10 on your top 10 horror movies of 2022 list?
Okay, so coming in at number 10, this one has surprised me. I didn't think I was gonna like it. I watched this on a plane ride home um, from uh, NOLA, and I watched Bodies, 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 so that's my number 10. Why are you
No, no,
laughing?
go ahead. No, no, go ahead. Okay. So what did
Okay.
you what did,
I
what
mean, if you want to
what
start
what
cracking
did you love about
jokes,
it?
I mean, let me know.
A lot of
Okay.
a, I
Um,
think I'm in the minority on this one. So
Okay. I mean, it's my top 10, okay? Like it's number 10. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. I thought it was very upbeat. It was clever. It was something different. It's kind of like a modern Gen Z Clue with their, game that
yeah,
they're playing. I don't know, I just felt like it kept me engaged and I just thought the cast was funny, their little smart remarks. And it kind of picked like
yeah,
again going back to the Gen Z, they kind of poked fun at them. So I thought it was funny and it just I like when movies can keep me engaged and keep me
yeah.
guessing. So that one was my number 10.
Unfortunately, that did not make my list. Um, I don't know.
Okay.
I wasn't like the biggest fan of it. I don't know why. I think you bring up some great points. I
Yeah.
definitely think that it was intriguing throughout. Like it kind of
Yeah.
definitely had you. It never like I was never like disengaged.
Yeah.
So I think that's important. I just you know I don't know. I thought some of the jokes were a little corny for me, just too
Yeah.
much. Um, I thought cast wise, I thought they did a pretty good job for what they
Yeah.
were trying to pull off. I just think overall, as far as like, I don't know, it just didn't do it for me.
Okay.
So
That's okay. Do I start
yeah, I
crying right
know.
now? I'm just kidding. I
Well,
mean,
it's
it's a comedy horror. It's a comedy horror, so it's gonna be
yeah.
cheesy, but like poke fun at things. So I mean, I like it.
I
So that's
mean,
okay.
like a lot of my letterbox friends rated it pretty high, and I
Yeah.
didn't. I'm not gonna say out loud what I rated that movie because you might leave the podcast. So what would you rank it? Like if you were on Letterbox, what would you give it out of it? 5?
I mean, I would give it a 3.
Oh, that's pretty solid. Threes are solids, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd give it a 3.
Mm, I gave it a 2.
Me too. I mean,
I gave it higher than I thought I gave it. That
yeah.
kind of
I mean,
shocks
you
me
did give it
right
a
now.
1. Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, a lot of my friends gave it like 4+ stars, which is good. Like, I've always said like I love, when I love when horror movies work for people, or when movies in general work for people. Like, I don't want to walk out of a theater saying I hate that movie. Like, I wish I could enjoy
Yeah.
every. So I'm glad it worked for you. Um,
Yeah.
this is the hardest one on the list for me. Is number 10.
Okay.
I had my 10.
Um,
This is gonna suck. Um,
oh my God, I'm like scared to what you're gonna say. I'm like,
I'm gonna go Scream.
okay.
And I'll put in context like what it was between. It was between Scream and a movie called Fresh that I really
Hmm.
liked. Um, I was actually last night I was texting Kevin and I was like, man, because we didn't really enjoy the new Scream movie that
Yeah.
much. It kind of disappointed me. There were some really key moments in there that I really liked. I really enjoyed some of the kills. A lot of people don't like this part, but I enjoyed Dewey's death. Like, I thought it was a
Yeah.
really good death. Honestly, I knew they were going to kill off a legacy character, and I knew it was going to
Yeah.
be him. Just because he's not Sydney, and but he's not Gale. Like, he's like right there in the
Right.
middle. Like, he's been there since day one. So it would hit some people, and it did. Like, I thought that worked really well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I lost my train of thought. I was talking about. Anyways, so I was texting Kevin last night. And I was like, man, I think Scream's gonna make my top 10, and he was like, you should check out a movie. And he gave me the list of the 4 movies that he liked this year, and I knew all of them except for Fresh. I don't know if you've seen
Hmm.
Fresh.
Yeah, I made my list.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, dope. I'll check that out. And so I watched it last night, and I really enjoyed that movie.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I can't put it in front of Scream, because I didn't enjoy Scream. So what I'm saying right now doesn't even really make sense. But
So
I'm
kind
gonna
of
have to
like
go with
tied.
Scream.
Like if you could tie
Yeah, it's
them, they're gonna be.
yeah, it's tied. I think the Scream one is it's probably not, like, on the outside looking in. It's probably not a bad movie or as bad as I'm making it out to be. It's just I have so much love for the original, and then for
Um,
2, and the rest of like I don't know. It just didn't hit with me the way the others did.
okay.
And I remember going into that movie, the hype around it was phenomenal. Like, I know
Yeah.
when the embargo lifted, like, everybody said that it was amazing. Like, it was really, really good. So I was like, oh, this is so exciting. Like, it was getting high ratings from critics, which horror movies never get high ratings from critics.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, this is great. And I kind of walked out a little disappointed. I've said this before. I kind of wish Jenna Ortega was the main character. We'll see what they
Agreed.
do with the new Scream, but I kind of wish she was the new one. But as much as I enjoyed Fresh last night, I think I'm gonna go with Scream at number 10 for me.
Okay. Okay. Number 9.
Yeah, number 9.
I'm like, okay. Okay, number 9, I'm gonna give it to Smile.
Nice.
Have you seen that one?
I have.
Yeah, okay. Um, I just feel like the advertising for this one was kind of solid. Yeah, it was very solid. It was on point. Um, and it just like intrigued me. Like, why are you guys doing this so much? Like, I need to watch this.
Yeah.
So
Do you
props
think
to
that?
them for
Do you
doing
think?
that.
Yeah, I feel like I was gonna ask you. I feel like and I feel like, so do you feel like that's one of the reasons that this movie did so well, because they advertised it so good?
I think so.
I think
I
so
mean, I
too.
don't.
Like,
It was
it,
everywhere.
it was everywhere. It was
I
at baseball games. I thought
I was just
that
gonna
was
say, yeah,
so good,
baseball.
so good.
I even remember seeing it at the movie theaters, like the trailer played like twice, like back
Yeah,
to back, and I was just like, damn, like I guess I need to see this. But yeah, Smile, it was, I feel like a psychological horror mixed with kind of like um a balance of jump scares. and it was creepy. Like where I was home alone watching it, I was covering my ears and I was like, oh,
Oh,
I love when movies do that. I mean, there are some points that, I in the storyline that were just kind of off, but I mean, overall, I feel like it
yeah.
was it was good. I mean, it scared me, it creeped me out, and I love when horror movies do that.
No, absolutely. And just to save some time, Smile is number 9 for me as well. I thought it was really good, and really from here on out, like
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the rest of these movies on the list.
Yeah.
So that's why I think for me, especially for the horror genre, when 10 movies in a year, basically 10 movies in a year can, for me personally, can horror wise can drop and they all be pretty
Yeah.
good and I really enjoy them. Like I feel like that's a really good year for horror because I feel like
Yeah.
that's the genre that just hasn't been like the strongest over the past few years. I know we got the resurgence
Agreed.
of the Halloween franchise and stuff like that, and then the new Screams, but really it's
Yep.
just been kind of weak. And it's just such a solid movie or such a solid movie list for this year, especially for originals too. So to see a movie like Smile for the small budget that it was, um, they did a really, really good, phenomenal job with this. And obviously, it costs a good amount of money to do marketing,
Yeah.
but they took full advantage of it, and it definitely paid off for them. I think that what you said really, it really is true for this movie. Like it was one of those creepy movies that definitely had me creeped out. I saw it in the theaters, and one of the
Okay.
things that I really enjoyed with this movie as well is the jump scares were really good. Like, um,
Yeah.
I think jump scares can definitely be overboard or like where they tease the jump scares and they're not there. Like one of the things that I hated was the new Scream movie that dropped this
Yeah.
year was like I just felt like they teased that way too much. Like especially when I think when his name's Wes when he's in the house and like
I know what you're
behind
talking about.
every
Yeah.
behind every single door they would tease it and I'm like it's cool like
Yeah.
for the first or second time but I didn't feel that way with Smile. Like I thought the jump scares in general were really good in this movie. I didn't feel like any of them were overplayed. And man, shout out to the actors because their faces had to be hurting after filming this movie for sure.
Yeah. I
But
was, like I
I
said, I
really
was covering
I
my
really
ears
enjoyed
and
it.
I was like,
Yeah, so it
yeah.
worked out. Worked out really
Mhm.
good. So it's really so we both have Smile on the list. I figured that would make both of our lists. So we're at
Yeah.
number 8. Um, so you enjoyed Smile overall though, right? Like you thought it was a good
Yeah, I
movie.
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I
So
have like any complaints of it, but yeah,
so
eight now.
I guess I guess for the both of us, really here on out are movies like we really enjoyed because like
Yeah.
it. I feel like if you go back in years past, this goes back to what
Mm,
I was just talking about, like with horror movies. Like if I go back like to 2019 and I try to make a top 10 list of horror movies, there's gonna be some on there that I just not gonna care for
yeah.
because it wasn't a great year. So uh but yeah, the rest of these movies, I'm glad we both really enjoyed these. But yes, we are at number 8.
Number 8. Um, and I'm interested to see if you saw this one, but number 8 is gonna be Bones and All.
Did not. And I have a really
No,
good
isn't it?
feeling that would have made my list. So that's
Yeah.
very, very unfortunate for me.
Yeah. So this is a body horror, like cannibal horror romance, and like coming of age. We had Luca Guadagnino. He did
Hmm.
Suspiria 2018, so the
Yeah.
remake. So I had
Hmm.
high hopes for like the cinematography. I knew it was going to be beautiful. This one was literally beautiful. The whole camera shots, the color, the whole aesthetic, I really enjoyed. The acting and chemistry between Taylor Russell and Timothy Chalamet was, I don't know, I just felt like brought the whole plot of the movie together, and it was just visually stunning. So, and it's not that it was scary, but it was just again kind of like Smile, like creepy. It had its creepy moments where you're just like cringing and just like, what the hell was that? So I really like that one. I thought it was beautiful type of horror.
I love that. I didn't see a lot of like promotion for that movie.
Yeah,
I definitely, but I saw a lot of people going to see that movie, and like I was like, man, and the reviews were really good on it. So I was like, man, I got to get out and see that. unfortunately never made it out. So I'm glad it made your list. And I just, based off what I heard, like I haven't watched or dug into it too much, just because it's like one of those movies I kind of want to go in a little bit blind to.
Right.
And I still don't know exactly what happens. So I can't wait
Yeah.
to check that out for the first time. But
Yeah. That one
I'm I'm
recommend
glad it's
watching.
good, and I'm glad it's on your list. Yeah, I'll definitely
Yeah.
have to watch that.
You have to let me know
Did
what
you
you think too.
know about this like ahead of time? Like it was coming out?
I
Like,
I think like a few months before I saw it on Instagram somewhere, and I just saw the trailer and I was like, oh, this looks cool. Like, but I just knew it had to do with something like about cannibals, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. But it's just like totally different, and I just thought it was just beautiful. That's the only way I could describe it. It was just beautiful.
yeah, man, I
Yeah.
can't wait to watch that.
Yeah, you have to watch it.
Yeah, I will. I'll definitely have to leave my letterbox review on
Yeah.
there for everybody to see.
Yeah.
So we're at 8, right?
Yeah, number 8.
All right, so I don't know if this is gonna be on your list or not. But for me, this is probably the first movie that kind of shocked me that I didn't think that I was gonna like, and that's gonna be Prey.
Mm,
Like I really enjoyed this movie. I am not a big Predator fan. It's just
yeah.
not really been my cup of tea, I guess you can say, and really outside of the first one. And I enjoyed the second one. It was okay. I know a lot of people enjoyed a lot more than I do, but really outside of the first Predator movie, the rest of them have just been trash in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I just had no hopes for this, if I'm being quite honest with you. Like I didn't think that I would like it. The cast, they look good, but I didn't really know, at least off the top of my head, who any of these people were. So I was just, the interest just wasn't there. And I didn't watch it like when it first dropped on Hulu. I was kind of late to it. And then obviously the reviews start coming out and people saying like it's the best Predator movie since the first one. And kept
Mm-hmm.
hearing that, and I was like, all right, well, maybe I'll check it out. And I checked it out and I loved it. I thought it was a really, really good movie. I don't know if it's Predator for me is like it's in the horror genre, of course, but for me, it was just more one of those movies that's just like suspenseful and has really good kills in it. But
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this movie. I thought the guy who played Predator was really phenomenal in this. I thought the prosthetics for Predator and his character were really, really good as well. And I am going to butcher this actress's name, at least her last name. So my apologies, but Amber Mid Thunder, I believe. I think there's an accent to that. It might not be, but Amber Mid Thunder,
Mm,
who plays the lead actress in this film, was freaking phenomenal. And I want to say this I should have said this from the jump, but I think this year was really, really good for like quote unquote final girls and lead women in movies this year for me personally. Like I thought that most of them did a phenomenal job. And
agreed.
I hope we get more of that going forward. Because Amber Mid Thunder in this movie is a prime example, did absolutely phenomenal, and there's a couple more on this list that stick out. So, but for me, I have to go with Prey at number 8.
Okay. I haven't seen that one. I'm gonna have to watch it. You said it's
Are
on
you?
Hulu?
Yeah, are you a Predator person?
I mean, I'll watch it, but not a big
Yeah,
Predator
I'm
fan.
I'm the same
Like you
way.
said, it's the first one. After that, the next ones, I'm just like,
Yeah, not too good. But I definitely recommend it, and
okay,
you don't have to watch the first one to understand this one. But I definitely think, for me, I think it's the best sequel to the
okay,
original. Some people still prefer 2, but for me, I love Prey. So Prey at number 8 for me.
okay. I'll have to watch that one. I haven't seen it. Okay, so number 7. Um, my number 7, this one was a
Hmm.
hard one for me
Yeah.
because I felt like, I mean, nothing is as good as original. And number 7 is Scream. Scream 5. So, because it's like the new cast mixed with the old cast, like kind of going back to what
Yeah.
you said, but not that I didn't like. I liked it enough that made obviously my list. Um, I liked it. I appreciate it for what it was. But again, and nothing's gonna be as good as the first one.
Of
And
course.
this one was fast paced, and that's what I kind of did. It felt rushed.
Yeah.
It was too
Yeah.
fast paced. A lot of stuff was like predictable. But I mean, it was fun to see the Sydney Ski Ulrich there. I mean, even though it
Yeah.
wasn't
That's
like, oh,
crazy.
like, oh, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
there he is. Yeah, and I just thought the cast was fun. You know, I didn't love them, but I enjoyed the movie enough
Yeah.
to have it in my list. So that's that one. And yeah, I'm like,
So what did you think about? So first off, let me ask, what did you think about Dewey's death? How'd you feel about that?
I cried. I
Yeah, it
cried a
was
little bit.
tough.
I was
It
like,
was tough to
no,
watch.
yeah. I wish it
Man,
was
and he
Gail, but I
got.
mean, I said I
I
wish it
mean,
was Gail.
let's be honest.
Yeah,
I think everybody in the world wishes it was
yeah.
Gail. Sorry, Gail, but
Um,
you know, you shouldn't have talked about Dewey
yeah,
in your previous books the way you did.
right. No, but I mean, it was of course one of them had to go out, you know, and I'm kind of excited to see what they're gonna do in 6 with Gail. It just makes me wonder, like, is she gonna take revenge on these people? Like, I don't know.
I
You
mean,
never
yeah,
know.
I don't know, and I'm super excited for 6 to have Hayden
Yeah.
Panettiere back in the movie.
Yes. Be.
I loved her in Forrest Kirby, so uh, yeah, I can't wait to see what they do in that. But I'm glad you like Scream.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, again, I just I don't know. I'm not sure her name off the top of my head. Who plays the lead character in that movie? Do you know?
Oh, Melissa I forgot her last name, Melissa. But I know her
Uh,
name is Melissa,
Mel-
right?
we'll go Melissa B.
Yeah, Melissa
Nothing
B.
against her. Like,
Yeah.
I think she's a great actress, but I don't know. She does not work for me, or did not work for me
Agreed.
in Scream 5 as the main character. I so wish it was Jenna Ortega. I'm a big fan of hers.
Agreed. Me too.
Um, so that's kind of a bummer. I hope she gets a little bit bigger role in this one coming up. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm not gonna hold it
Yeah.
against Melissa B for
Melissa
she's got at least
Yeah.
2 more movies, I'm sure, to kind of rebound and change my mind. But I don't know. I'm super excited for it. Even though I wasn't
Yeah.
the biggest fan, but I'm glad it made your list. I'm glad people loved it. I will say
Yeah.
it was really, really good seeing Ghostface back on the big screen. Did you know who the killers were from jump?
Yeah, I kind of had a feeling. I mean, it's always
Yeah.
like the boyfriend. Um, it kind of felt like the original, but obviously modern day, like a whole new cast, a whole new everything. So it's kind of gonna follow those footsteps where they tried to lead you on to believing it's not gonna be like that, but it ends up
Yeah.
being like that. I mean, I
Yeah,
liked it.
and
I mean, I liked it.
good. Again, I'm glad you did. I knew it was the boyfriend. I didn't know who the
Yeah.
second killer was. It
Yeah. I
took
didn't
me a
even know
while
there
to
was
get it.
two. Yeah.
Yeah, it took me a while to get it. So, okay. We're at number 7. So number 7 for me is going to be Jordan Peele's Nope. Um, I would say that this was probably, outside of Scream, my most anticipated horror movie of 2022.
Hmm.
Um, I will say that I walked out of it a tad disappointed. Um, One, I already knew with Jordan Peele, it's going to be a lot deeper than
Yeah.
any of us can imagine or observed, especially in a first watch. Um, I obviously love Get Out. I think that movie is damn near perfect in my opinion. I actually enjoyed Us. I know a lot of people didn't enjoy Us. It's not as good as Get Out, but I enjoyed it. I thought there were some really good scenes in that movie. That movie, I think, out of all 3 of these, for me personally, was one that kind of confused me most.
Hmm.
Um, I think the big reveal for have you seen Nope?
Yes, I have. I made my list.
So I think the big reveal at the end was just kind of deflating in a sense.
Okay.
I thought Jordan Peele was definitely we were gonna get aliens, and I was really really excited for that.
Yeah.
But really, other than that, there's not really too much I can complain about. Like I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was really really good. The cast in this movie, I mean, come on. I mean, it was damn near perfect as well. Um, and more than anything, I saw this movie in IMAX, and it is just absolutely gorgeous. Like
Oh,
it's the background on the podcast now. I love that blue
yeah.
tint, that blue sky. It's just so well shot. I think it's probably one of the best shot movies at night I have ever seen. The camera work in this is phenomenal. Jordan Peele again shows that he continues to be one of, if not the best directors in Hollywood. And I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed this movie. So it came in at number 7 on the list for me.
Nice. Yeah, I made my list, but we'll see where it places. Okay, so number 6, right?
Number 6, right before we get into the top 5.
Oh, okay. So number 6, I have Fresh.
Nice. I love that. Love that.
Yes, I
Love
loved Fresh. I swear that dance scene lives rent free in my head.
that. Love that.
Another cannibal movie. I thought it was so cool. It was Fresh was literally fresh. It was like, I
Yeah.
just thought it was, I don't know, I just thought it was so cool, and the whole vibe of the movie was, I didn't know what to expect. It was
Me
different.
neither.
I mean, what's her name? Daisy Edgar Jones loses her ass in that movie, and I thought that was hilarious. Like,
Yeah.
that was so
Yeah.
funny. But I thought it was cool, and I liked it. Yeah, no complaints about that one at all. Yeah, that one was
I
cool.
I I hadn't I didn't hear about that. Like I didn't hear about that movie until last night. I
Oh,
don't know if I was
really?
like I didn't know if I was living under a rock or
Oh
whatever.
my
And like
gosh.
I'm going down Kevin's list, and I'm like, oh, that's a good movie, good movie, good movie. And then I see Fresh, and I'm like, what is Fresh? And he was like, it's on Hulu. You need to
Yeah.
watch it. It's the only thing I knew it was a cannibalism movie. That's the only thing he told me.
Hmm.
So I went into it really really blind, and I loved it. And
I
actually,
loved it too.
I'm gonna put that at 10. I, I'm
You're
I'm
gonna change
I'm
your mind?
I'm
Hey, I was
throwing a
like, hey, no
flag.
take back. No
I'm
take
throwing
back.
I'm throwing a flag on the plate. This is the determination I've come to, or the conclusion I've come to, I should say.
Yeah.
If anybody on the podcast that's on here that wants to make a change to their list, as long as it's done within the podcast, it's acceptable.
Oh, that's funny. You're making
Um,
rules right now. You're establishing rules right now.
well, I get mad at myself on these lists because I go into it and I think I have the perfect list, and then like I hear other people's opinions like yours, and I'm like, and
Yeah, no.
even when I was talking about Scream, I said I enjoyed Fresh a little more. It's just so I'm gonna put Fresh at number 10. Sorry,
But
Scream.
where does that place Scream? It just bumps it off.
Yeah, it's off the list. I'm
Oh
sorry.
wow.
Yeah, I just I don't know, something about going into I think a lot of factors play into Fresh too. Going into
Yeah,
it blind, not knowing what to expect. I thought the acting was really really good in this movie. Everybody all around was really good. Um, it was
agreed.
uh, it was a lengthy movie, but I thought it was really really good. I was kind of shocked at first when I found out that his wife was involved. I didn't think so. Like I
Didn't
thought
expect
that
that.
yeah, man, I thought he was gonna get caught up once her phone rang and it was that ringtone. I was like,
You're
oh,
just getting caught up. Yeah.
yeah, here we go. You're getting caught up. Your wife's leaving
Yeah.
you, and then
Yeah.
she hits home. She hits her in the back of the head, and I'm like, oh, of course she's involved. So,
Damn.
I thought it was really good. I think cannibalism movies are kind of tough for me. I think that
Yeah.
some movies go like way overboard,
I was gonna say that,
and
yeah.
some don't like do enough. And I just felt like I felt like Fresh was kind of right there in the middle. Like I thought it was really good. You see some gory scenes, but nothing too crazy. And then it's just I'm not gonna lie, like I was grossed out a little bit when they were trying the foods, and then just knowing in your mind what that's supposed to be. I'm like, am I going like I don't know. I just think of crazy shit. I'm like, I hope when
Yeah.
I go to Olive Garden and I get spaghetti and meatballs, I ain't
I was just
eating,
thinking of
you don't know. You don't know.
that.
You don't know.
This
Like
movie
I
made
don't
me
want to be thinking that.
yeah. this movie made me hungry, so I don't know.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, I like that movie, and it has a good rewatchability to it. Like I can put that
Yeah.
on and just be like, and then still enjoy it. So yeah, that
Yeah,
made
yeah, I'll definitely rewatch it soon. It's definitely rewatchable for me. So, yeah, I just love Scream and Ghostface so much as a franchise. It's hard for me to leave it off the list, but if I'm being honest, I really enjoyed Fresh for everything that it was, and
yeah.
I'm glad it's as high as it is on your list. So,
Yep.
all right, number 6 for me is again a movie that I didn't think that I was gonna like at all. When I went and saw this movie, there was only one other person in the movie theater on opening night. It was
Oh,
opening night, and it is Orphan First Kill.
okay.
I really like this
I'm gonna
movie.
leave it.
You
I have
didn't
to
like
turn,
it?
I have to turn around and laugh really quick. Like, no, I
No,
didn't.
go ahead.
No, okay, go ahead.
Okay, what didn't you like about it? That's what I want to know.
I just felt like it was like cheesy. The storyline.
What?
Yeah, I didn't like it. Again, I like the original.
I like the original too.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'll stand on this island. I
It's
don't give a
okay.
fuck.
Yeah, that's
Um,
fine.
I don't know. I loved it. I thought it was really good. It was. I'm not gonna. There's a couple movies on here that had a really good plot twist that doesn't outdo it. So I'm not gonna say it was the best plot twist, but I can tell you I didn't see that coming. When
Yeah.
like that was a hell of that was a hell of a plot twist. I don't know. I don't know. I really liked it.
And you
I
like
don't know
that
what.
one better than Scream?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry. Sorry.
it's
I was
okay.
wondering if we were gonna have something we could like actually really bump heads on, and I'm glad
I'm
I'm
just
glad it's
I'm scared
no.
every time you announce theirs. I'm like, please do not say Halloween ends.
Well, we're getting down to like the
Oh
nitty
my
gritty,
gosh.
especially when we get into the top 5, and
Oh,
there's
okay.
some that you haven't listed yet, and I'm like, huh.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to. Sorry, Jess. Sorry to break your heart, but I gotta go
Uh,
Orphan First Kill. And it was close to making
okay.
my top 5. It was close. It was
Yeah.
close. So,
You know what, but I can't be
um,
too mad. It's still horror. It was fun to watch, but not in my top 10.
don't lie. It was not fun to watch for you.
It was,
Don't lie.
yeah, not my top 10 though.
All right, so we're gonna go into our top 5 now.
Okay.
This is where it gets good. I would say for me, out outside of before we jump into our top 5,
Okay.
were you 100% sure of what you were putting at number 1?
Yes.
Okay, me too. I was going back and forth between 3, 4, and 5 on the placements.
Mine
My first
was,
my
yeah.
first 2, I knew 100% they were going to be 1 and 2, and then my 3, 4, and 5, like I struggled with those as far as placement wise. What about you?
I Same. I feel like I changed my whole list um
Yeah.
like 3 times, and I think even
Well,
today before coming on here I was like, "Ooh, did I really like that one
it's
that much?" And I had to switch it. Yeah.
yeah, it's funny you say that because we were supposed to record earlier in the week and I wasn't able to, but I had my list together. I sat
Yeah.
down yesterday and redid my list,
Mm,
and there were definitely ones that changed.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'm super excited to dive into our top 5. So what do you have at number 5?
Number 5, I have Pearl. I
You have Pearl at number
li-
5?
I have Pearl at number 5.
Time out.
I mean, Mia Goth. I feel like Mia Goth. Oh,
Hold on.
time out.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about this movie together because Pearl
Okay,
is number
okay,
5 on my list as well.
okay, cool. I was like, wait, why are you telling me time out? I
I
was
know.
like, did
I was just messing with you. Like I was trying to give you shit. Like
oh,
what? It's not higher, but it's
oh,
number 5. It's number 5 on my list
okay.
as
I
well.
was like, okay, yeah, yeah. It
So what'd you
was.
love about it?
I mean, Mia Goth. She carried her and Jenna Ortega. I'm gonna just say it carried the horror genre this whole year.
Man, their backs
It.
gotta be hurting.
I seriously, I loved it. Mia Goth, Pearl's monologue, the whole cinematography, the colors, I mean, it just, it was amazing. I don't even, just one word is just amazing. It was fun. And I like that you don't even have to watch X to watch this one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I loved it. It made my top 5.
So I gotta shout out Kevin, and I'm gonna shout him out a lot in these podcasts because he's not a Mia Goth person.
Mm.
And I know. And I need to give him some shit about that because
Mm-hmm.
she is phenomenal.
Yes.
You know, we can talk about X, we can talk about Pearl, both of those movies. I mean, she just absolutely delivered in her performances. I think I enjoyed her personally a little bit more in Pearl. I think I go back to what you said is supposed to be back in the day, quote unquote, but it looked beautiful. Like
Yeah.
like it's hard. Like I feel like with all the technology that we have, it's on the easier side to make it look like it's back in the old days, but it's also like easier to make it look like or like to overdo it. And I felt
Yeah.
like Pearl didn't do that. Like it felt appropriate for the timeline that it was supposed to be in. And I just loved Mia Goth's performance. I think that she is the MVP, obviously, in this movie. Um, Her and that X is her right hand
You said her
man,
in that
woman,
ass.
whatever you want to call it.
Her in that
I did not say
ass.
that.
Her
I
in
did
that
not say
axe.
that.
Yeah. Her in that
Her and that
axe.
axe, A
Yeah,
X
her in
E,
that axe. See?
A X
Okay.
E, trying to get me in trouble. Damn it.
Yeah.
But no, again,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it, and this is another movie that I just
Yeah.
an original. You got to give a big shout out
Yes.
to Ty West. He just did
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal, and the fact that they shot X and Pearl back to back to each other. It's rare that we get a prequel or a sequel to a movie in the same year, and I
Yes.
just think that we got gifted two gifts, two gems. And that's why Pearl comes in at number 5. Mia Goth, Ty West, absolutely phenomenal.
Yep.
Perfection. Can't complain.
Amazing. Okay, number 4. I'm like looking at you like, number 4 is gonna be X.
Ah!
Is that you too?
No,
You? No?
no.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh,
X.
the placements, the
Yeah.
placements.
Yeah. Again, we were saying earlier how we were kind of swapping. Um, this is one of the ones where I had like I was flip-flopping a lot. But X, it was the perfect, I feel like, love letter to 70s and 80s horror. It felt like Texas Chainsaw Massacre without being it. It was more like of an original. And I went into this movie blind, not knowing what it was, and I was like, whoa, like
Yeah.
this is crazy. But I loved it. It was a great slasher movie. Jenna Ortega and Mia Goth, you know, Kid Cudi, the whole cast was just amazing.
Yeah.
Um, Even the soundtrack, the music was great. Like
So good.
everything about this whole movie was like original, and I appreciated that. Yeah, I that's number 4 for me. What about you?
Um, well, first off, so I'll hold my comments for X.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Obviously it's
Yeah.
on the list, but I'm glad that made your list. I figured it would.
Yeah.
And for all the right reasons. So number 4 for me, I don't know if this is on your list or not. You haven't mentioned it yet, but
Mhm.
I'm gonna go with the Black Phone.
Okay.
This is one that man, ever since Halloween Kills, I was looking forward to. I remember going to see Halloween Kills, and I saw that Ethan Hawke was in this movie. The trailer was just so good.
Wait, time
Um,
out. Time out. Did this one come out this year?
yeah, it did. So
I'm
yeah,
like,
it did.
you
Yeah,
sure?
yeah. So it was supposed to come out when Halloween Kills came out.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Um, it got pushed.
Okay.
It got pushed. So,
Maybe that's why.
yeah, it definitely got pushed. I think it came out this year. Now you're confusing me. I'm confusing myself.
Mm,
Did it come out?
Google.
Oh, I'm gonna Google it right now. But I will say that I want to say it was Halloween Kills. I went and saw the previews for, and the Black Phone just looked absolutely phenomenal. Um,
Yeah.
I thought it was one. I'm a big fan of Ethan Hawke. So to get
Yeah.
him in a horror movie,
Yes.
um, I thought was really phenomenal as well. So okay, so the original release date for this was in 2021, but it got pushed to June 24th of this year. So
Okay.
it was just one of those movies, I guess with
Oh, okay.
COVID and everything that ended up getting pushed. So I
Okay.
think they had I think hearing Ethan Hawke talk about it, like they had it filmed for almost 2 years before it even came out, which I thought
Wow.
was pretty crazy. But I thought the kids in this movie were really good as well. But again, I harp
Yes.
back to Ethan Hawke. He just did absolutely phenomenal as the grabber in this movie. Um, Nothing too crazy happens, but again, I just thought this is another movie where the cinematography was really, really good in this movie. It made you feel like it was I think it was the 70s or early 80s that
Yeah.
this took place. And I really enjoyed it. All shout out to Ethan Hawke. He did
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna use your
Okay.
pass. I'm gonna use your pass for
Sorry, I was yelling at my dog.
the black phone. It's okay. I was like, are you
He was
yelling at
chew-
me?
he's No, my dog has allergies and he chews on his paws,
Oh.
and I have
Oh
to yell at
yeah.
him when he does that because he'll
Yeah.
chew on them till they bleed, and I'm like,
Oh
dude,
no.
you're just hurting yourself. I feel so bad for
Yeah.
him.
Aw. But yeah, I'm gonna use your pass and I'm gonna bump off bodies, bodies, bodies and throw on the black phone
Cool. At number
because
10, are you putting it at number 10?
I'm putting it at number 10. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I'll
I
bump
love
off
that.
now. Um, the same thing you said, Ethan Hawke. But also a special shout out to because most of the cast was pretty much just kids, and I feel like they did a great
Yeah.
job for this horror movie. The emotion, anytime they cried, it felt very emotional and very real. Um, so yeah, I would put that number
I,
10.
I have to give a shout out to Madeline McGraw, who played Gwen, the little girl.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So phenomenal in this movie. I loved her
Agree.
lines. I loved her comebacks. The fact that you know she's her brother is her best friend, and she goes out there and does everything that she can to tries to try and find them. And I thought Mason did really good as Finney as well. And then again, yeah,
Yes.
Ethan Hawke just really
Yep.
really good. But I love your point about the kids. They carried this for sure, along
Yeah.
with Ethan. So really good.
Okay.
So
Number
we're
three.
yeah, pedestal time, pedestal time.
Okay. So number three for me is gonna be Nope. And I
Oh,
know this made your list earlier. What did you put it as?
oh no. I'm just thinking in my head what's left for you to put on your list.
Okay. Yeah, my number three
I'm
was Nope. But where was it on your list?
seven.
Okay, yeah. It made number three for
Seven.
me.
Love that. I love that.
I just enjoyed that it was kind of like a sci-fi horror.
Yeah.
I like again Jordan Peele with the symbolism and whole open to interpretation. I do agree with you about the alien. I was kind of underwhelmed how it kind of looked. But I mean, other than that, I have no complaints.
So is that
Um,
it's supposed to be, is it a jellyfish? What is that?
I mean, it's just
Do we know
I
what it
was
is yet?
no, it's like this weird alien thing, but I know he gets a lot of like inspo from like just like symbolism and
Yeah.
um things like that. So I mean, it's open to interpretation, but
It
intro
is.
scene, that whole intro
Oh,
scene was
so
crazy.
good.
But I
Yeah.
love when movies just jump into something to grab your attention. And then of
Hell
course
yeah.
Kiki Palmer. I mean, she was hilarious. I love her. Yeah.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, and that's one of the things that I love about Jordan Peele too. A lot of it, like he writes it a certain way. He knows what he wants it to be and what it is. But like
Yeah.
if you listen to like, especially with his interviews for Nope, like when he's asked, "What is that? Is it a jellyfish? Is it a giant pillow? Like what the hell is that in the sky?"
Yeah.
He hasn't said. I mean,
Yeah.
he hasn't said it all in any of his interviews, and to your point, he said it's up for interpretation. That's what he loves,
Yeah.
and he did a phenomenal job in it, and I can't agree with you more. Again, I go back to those nighttime shots when we see this jellyfish, or at the time what I believe to be a UFO going in and out of the clouds. Oh, so beautiful, so good,
It
so
was
well
good.
done.
So good. Yeah.
So well done. So that was your number 3, correct?
That was my number 3. Yeah.
So number 3 for me, another original horror movie, Barbarian.
Okay.
I love this movie. It's one of those movies where I feel like the first half or the first act is totally different from the last act. Like I feel like they're
Mm-hmm.
two totally different movies. Like it just totally switched up, and I don't think that was a bad thing for me. I know a lot of people really enjoyed the first half of the movie compared to the second, but I think
Right.
overall, it was done really really well, and I really enjoyed it. A lot of good jump scene scares in this movie. The actors in this movie were really good. I thought Justin Long was funny in this movie. I thought he was an
Mm-hmm.
asshole in this movie as well.
Yeah.
And I go back to the shock factor in this movie when they were up on like that tower or whatever, and he just tossed her ass off.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was gonna happen. Like I thought it was gonna be the other way around, even though she was like half dead
Yeah.
and like really, really hurt. Like I thought something was like in any other movie, everything's gonna work out in her favor, and
Yeah.
it doesn't. And he just
Yeah.
tosses her ass
He's
off.
like,
Slow motion. I'm sitting there like, oh my god, what a dick. I'm like,
he's like
he's been an
everybody for
asshole since
themselves.
day one. Yeah, which to each his
Yeah.
own, but I don't know if I could do that. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe that would be my downfall and why I would die is helping other people. But man, I don't know. I thought it was again really really good. The cinematography is good in it when the old lady pops her head up out of the basement window through the
Oh,
glass. I thought it was
it
really really
scared me.
good. So scary. Um, I don't know, and it just had me intrigued from the jump when she goes to the Airbnb in this trashy ass neighborhood, and there's just one perfect, beautiful house, and
Right?
it just had me from the beginning. This was a movie that I went in semi blind to. Like I watched the trailer, but again, if
Mm-hmm.
you watch the trailer, it's totally different from what anything you expect the movie to be. So I
Agreed.
really love that. So that's why Barbarian comes in at number 3 for me.
Okay. Well, I mean, you kind of led me into number 2, which is Barbarian. Um, the same points that you said. I feel like I went into this one though completely blind. I didn't know anything about it. It kind of brought that shock value to me. I kind of
Yeah,
already assumed like I already had another story in my head, like, well, what's gonna happen? Like this guy is in the house. It's gonna be him. He's gonna take her down there, you know. But it was unpredictable. And Mother, she like carried this movie. Like
Mother.
with
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
I cannot like there doesn't go like a day doesn't go by where I don't say bebe because of her. And
Have
I think
you
of her,
have
but
you have you rewatched this movie?
yes. I
Me
watched it
too.
like 2 or 3 times.
I've watched it 3 times. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I feel like it has rewatchability. Um, yeah, I mean that made my number 2. I don't have any complaints about it. It's
Yeah.
funny, it's interesting, it's scary. I like the whole dark, imagery and aesthetic to it. I like the plot twist. Uh, yeah, I have no
Yeah.
complaints. It's different. It's different. There's nothing else
It
like it.
it is, and when I go down and I look at my list and really your list too, a lot of original movies this year,
Yeah.
which I really really love. I think it was you talk about The Black Phone, you talk about Pearl, you talk about Prey and Smile, like well, not so much Prey, but Smile. Movies like a lot of good original movies, and again, that's just such a good testament to horror this year. And I do have to ask though, for Barbarian, how skeptical were you of Keith, played by Bill Skarsgård?
Um, I thought it would like I said, I thought Keith
Yeah,
was the killer. I thought he was gonna drag her down there. There's gonna be a bunch of other girls, like, he has down
yeah,
there and he's abducting them, but threw me off. He was
yeah.
the first to go, and I was just like, oh shit, like it's not him. I was like, what else is down there? Like, are these monsters, So I was just like blindsided by that.
So
Yeah.
good, and I love movies that do that.
Yeah.
All right, so number 2 for me is X. And this
Okay.
was on your list earlier.
Yeah.
And I just agree with everything that you said. I think the cast in this movie is phenomenal. Obviously, Mia Goth, um, Jenna Ortega. I grew up a huge Britney Snow fan, as far as like
Mm-hmm.
I had a huge crush on her. So for obvious reasons, like I loved seeing her in this movie as well. And I really enjoyed seeing her in this movie as well, because I feel like she hadn't been in anything recently or anything that came to mind for
Right.
me. And I thought she did phenomenal in this movie as well.
Yes.
And then also on that same level, Kid Cudi. He did
Oh
really
my
good as well
gosh.
in his role, right?
So
Really good. I'm a
amazing.
big fan of his music, always
Me
have been,
too.
and for him to jump into this role and pull off what he pulled off, I thought was phenomenal. And really, you start to go down the list. Really, really good cast. It was very well casted. The kills in this movie were great. And again, when you break everything down and you look at it, Mia Goth, just absolutely
Mm,
phenomenal in this movie. So, for all the reasons that you said and I said, that's why X is number 2 for me.
okay. Number one.
Number 1,
I mean, it's gonna be Terrifier 2.
Terrifier
Is it
2
for
for
you
me as
too?
well.
Yes. I'm like,
Yeah,
I was hoping
nice.
it's on there. I
Let's
was like,
fist fist
okay.
bump,
Yeah,
fist bump.
fist bump. I feel like
Yes,
honestly, all the gore. That intro scene.
yes,
I'm a gore girl. I love to see, a horror movie is come on, like give me all the gore. Um,
yes. Thank you.
I I mean, I just have no words for this. It was amazing. It made up
Yeah,
for, number one. It I mean, I have no complaints about it. It was different. It was original, it was perfect in all aspects to me as a horror
yeah.
movie.
No, I agree, and I want to ask you about the first Terrifier. Let's kind of talk about that for a minute. So I knew Terrifier 2 was coming out. Like it was probably 3 days before Terrifier 2 was coming out. And if I'm being honest, up until that point, I hadn't seen the first one.
Mm.
I really just had no interest in it, and somebody told me that I should check it out. And obviously, I wanted to watch the second one, so I did, and it had me hooked. Now, granted, it has its problems. I think
Yeah,
one, you got to think about the very small budget that first movie had, and the second
right.
movie had a small budget too. But um, the way that I look at it, because I love Terrifier 2 so much, like I want people who haven't seen it to see it. Like my sister is big into horror as well, but she's never seen Terrifier. I feel like a lot of people who watched the first Terrifier, even though I enjoyed it, they're gonna be like, "What the hell is this?" Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, I think
yeah,
for me, the way that I try to explain it to people is Terrifier, the first movie, is an introduction to Art the Clown, right? We
right.
get to it's basically just him going around killing people. Kind of reminds me of Halloween Kills. Michael Myers just going around killing people, doesn't really have a plot line. The dialogue kind of sucks.
Yeah,
It's not a perfect movie, but if you want to watch a slasher movie and somebody going around just killing people, Terrifier is a solid movie for you. But
yeah, it's
to your
creepy.
point, yeah, they made up for it a lot in the second one. And real quick before I get off, the first Terrifier, to your creepy comment, what had me so intrigued outside of the gore in Terrifier, um, was obviously Art the Clown and his creepiness. And if it wasn't for David Howard Thornton's performance as Art the Clown, I don't know if the first one, if I would have had any interest in seeing the second one. But
Hmm.
again, that first one I feel like was an introduction to him and got us to know Art the Clown. And to your point, the second movie made up for it as far as great dialogue, great storyline, great final girl and Lauren Lavera, and just as cast in general. Like you can tell that that again that it just took another level, took another step up, and
Agreed.
I don't know. I love Terrifier 2. I don't have any complaints about it. It's probably one of one of the best horror movies I've seen in a while. I just love everything
Agreed.
about it. And Art the Clown, man, so good.
It was
So
so good.
creepy. And again, Lauren Lavera I thought was really good as a final girl as well.
Yeah.
So
I feel like it Terrifier 2 checked all the boxes for me as
yeah,
far as like what a horror movie should be. Again, gore, the plot line, a final girl. I mean, I love a
yeah,
good slasher. That's my favorite type of horror slasher. So
me
this
too.
Art the Clown, his costume, I mean, crossing the line on things, it just so much blood. It was a bloodbath and I loved it.
Yeah,
And for being a small
yeah.
budget film and it came out the same
Oh,
weekend as Halloween Ends, I'm like,
I
can you
know.
can you imagine if it had such the same budget? Like it would have blew that shit out of the water.
Oh, hell yeah. And obviously, really, really good for Terrifier 2. They blew their own budget out of the number or out of the water for this one. I think their budget this time around was like 300K, which is nothing for a film. Like that's minimum. That first film they only had 35,000, I think David said.
So
So
crazy. So
so
crazy.
35,000 to 300,000 is a huge jump, and you can tell in this movie, but still 300,000 is still a very low budget movie when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to making a movie. And it was so good, so well done. Um I don't know. It's just one of those movies. It's the movie. It's the first one that I put on the list. I knew that it was number one, and
Me too.
there was just no taking away from that for me. So I'm
Same.
excited to see what they have going forward.
Me too.
You know, when I was talking to David, like, um, you know, I asked him like how like this low budget horror movie that you made, like how great is it to have people like Stephen King and Mike Flanagan giving it so much praise? And I saw that Lauren Lavera met Mike Flanagan over the weekend, and just everybody involved in that film um, um, deserves this.
Yeah.
So Damien Leone, like I'm super excited for him. Um, I don't know, really good movie. Really happy for everybody involved. I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah. Me too. That was an easy win for me.
Yeah, yeah. Again, number one on our list,
Number
on our list,
one.
and number one is the one that we knew. So that's our top 10. So,
Mm,
um, you didn't have Orphan First Kill on your list because you thought it was dog shit. Like literally,
yes.
like that's what your face
Yes.
said, straight dog shit.
I laughed at you and
Um,
I had to turn away.
I know you. I literally thought you were gonna log off, so I appreciate you
I was
staying.
like, yeah,
Um, are the
Halloween
rest of the
Ends.
list? We're gonna touch on that here in a
I'm
second.
like,
Because we're going to discuss the elephant in the room.
yeah.
But outside of that, our list. Well, I bumped Scream off, but what was so real quick? Go through your list, and I'll go through mine.
Mhm.
So we can wrap it up.
Okay, so what was
Yeah,
it? Yeah. 10 was the black phone for me because I bumped up bodies, bodies, bodies.
yep.
Number 9
Um,
was, wait, what was your 10?
my 10 was
Oh,
Fresh. I changed.
Fresh.
Yeah, yeah, I changed.
Yeah.
Uh,
Let me see.
n- Number 9 for me was Smile.
Okay. That was mine too.
Oh yeah, that's true. Number 8 for me was Prey.
Mine was Bones and All.
That's it. That was the other one. I didn't get it. That wasn't on my list.
Yeah, you
7
gotta
was
watch that.
Nope. Yeah, I know.
My 7 was Scream.
6 was your favorite Orphan, First Kill.
Mine was
Uh,
Fresh.
Pearl at 5.
Same.
The Black Phone at 4.
Mine was X.
Barbarian at 3.
Mine was Nope.
I'm glad that's high on your list.
Yeah.
2 is X.
Mine was Barbarian.
And then we both had Terrifier 2. So I think those are solid lists, even though you're really hating on one of mine. I'll take that. No, literally I will take
Yeah.
that all day long. Like, I'm not gonna argue that. So
I mean, I prefer
uh
it over Halloween Ends still, so.
so 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 let's discuss that. Let's obviously that's the elephant in the room is Halloween Ends not being on this list. For me, it's not a shock. But I think for some people it will be. Um so I guess we can kind of just real quick before we get off, kind of talk about that. So I'll start off. I thought the acting in it was really good. I thought the cinematography in it was really good. I was invested into Corey's story, and
Okay.
that's about it. Um,
Mhm.
Now this doesn't work for me in many ways. One, this is the ending of a trilogy in this movie, and this is the ending to a battle that we all anticipated. Like, this been going on for forever now between Laurie and Michael. I thought it was very underwhelming the way that it ended. I expected a lot more between those two in this movie. So when I sit here and I say that I was invested into Corey's story, like, I thought they told a good story, but that is not a story that you tell in the last movie of a trilogy. Like, if you want to take
Right.
that movie and turn it into something else, um, like the opening, like, I was shocked. I thought it was a good opening. It had the entire theater when the kid fell and snapped his neck. It was gruesome. It was good. It worked with the audience, but again, at the end of the day, you marketed the story as, the battle between Laurie and Michael, and you told a totally different story for the entire movie. And then the last 10 minutes, no, I'm sorry, the last 4 minutes, I don't even think it was 4 minutes. The last 2 minutes, I think the battle between Michael and Laurie in the kitchen was less than 3 minutes. So we'll go with less than
Mm.
3 minutes. It was just absolutely deflating. Like, the battle, I thought their choreography was really good. I just needed more of that.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the battle between them in the first Halloween of David Gordon Green's, when they used the entire house, when they started it upstairs and then
Right.
downstairs. Like, you had the ability to use that entire house, and it just felt like, they were telling this story, and they were like, "Oh shit, our runtime's almost up. Let's go ahead and throw Michael and
Yeah.
Laurie in the kitchen for 2 minutes." And the
Yeah.
ending was super corny. Um, and then to top that off, the last thing I'll say is, seeing Michael treated the way that he was treated in this movie was pretty sad for me. That's my number one guy. Like, that's my number one horror franchise of all time, and to see him weak like that and vulnerable, and to get beat up by a little punk teenage kid,
Right.
um, it was deflating to see. So, um, yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. There's no way that Halloween Ends was making this list. Honestly,
I was
um, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I I think I'm saving, like, my top 10 movie, or my top movies for entire 22, not just horror, for the first week of January. But I've seen roughly 25, 26 new movies this year, and Halloween Ends is fourth from the bottom on that list for me.
Mm.
So it was just not a good outing for me. I gave it
Yeah.
1.5 stars, I think. And that's just due to the great cinematography and the acting. And
Okay,
other than that, for me, just didn't have it.
on a scale of 1 to
Go ahead.
10, what would you rate it? On a scale of 1 to 10, where would you place it?
Um, Probably a 4.5.
Yeah, same.
It's pretty low.
Yeah.
Like when I did my I did my recap for when I had everybody on for the panel for the Halloween ranking. Um, it's one, two, it's the fourth worst in my opinion in the
Yeah.
franchise. So I do rank it pretty low. And that's just solely based on the things that I said that I didn't like. I mean, it's a beautifully shot movie. There's no denying that, and I think the acting was great in it. Like, I know everybody hates Corey, and understandable. Um, but I thought Rohan Campbell, as far as acting wise, did a phenomenal job. So you had those things going for you, and they just fucking dropped
Dropped
the
the ball.
ball like in a
Hmm.
big way. So yeah, just
Yeah,
not a fan.
I mean, I appreciate it for what it was, but it was not a good fit for an ending to Michael Myers and Laurie Strode. Um, yeah, there wasn't enough gore for me. So, I mean, I have
Sure,
no words to say anything, but I mean, I appreciate it for what it was, but it was trash to me for Michael Myers.
track.
I felt, I mean,
Yeah,
we shouldn't feel bad for Michael Myers. You know, we should be scared of him.
yeah.
It just, I feel like it should have ended in 2018, Halloween 2018.
I was
I feel like,
I love I loved 18.
yeah,
I will say though, I am on an island, at least based in all of my friend group. I did like Halloween Kills. And the only
mm,
reason that I do like Halloween Kills is because I get that brutal Michael Myers going around killing people. Did the dialogue suck? Yes. Did the story suck? Yes. Like I can't sit here and say it's a great movie, but
yeah,
that's a movie I can throw on because Michael just goes around fucking people up, and I will watch that all day over what I got in Halloween Ends. So
yeah. Well, I don't know. That one's okay.
no, it's okay. Again,
Yeah,
like I know a lot of people hate Kills, and rightfully so.
yeah,
Again, many reasons to hate it. It's just I don't know, something about Michael being as brutal as he was. Like I just enjoyed that part.
right.
So
I agree. The Michael part was good. But I feel like it should have just stopped at in 2018. He should have just
yeah,
died in that
I would have been
fire,
good with that.
or
Yeah.
they could have reversed it, placed ends somewhere in the storyline as the first one, and then kind of
Oh
flowed
man.
somehow.
Well, also like so it's a double-edged sword with the way I feel about. So I thought the acting was great. I loved seeing Laurie Strode super happy, but it felt out of order,
Okay. Yes.
right? Like we saw how she was mental state of mind. What was it, 40 years later in Halloween 2018, like just so fucked up in the head. And then in Halloween Kills, she loses a lot of good friends and she loses her daughter at that. And you're telling me like 2 years later or 3 years
Agreed.
later, or I'm sorry, 4 years later, she's all this, this happy, jolly person, which
Mm-hmm.
I thought that Lord, she did great in that. It just felt reversed to me. Like it would have been better if she was happy, jolly, she had moved on 40 years later, and then Michael comes back. And then if we got the Lori that we got in 18, as much as I love 18, it just would have made more sense. Like I just lost my daughter, so now I'm in this
Yes.
come and find me, motherfucker. I'm in that type of
Yes.
mode. So it just
Right.
a lot of that stuff just felt out of order to me.
Right. Yeah. I don't know.
So
I cringe at that movie, and I'm so glad I didn't make your list. I was like, oh, if he puts this on his list, I'm gonna click end.
Honestly, it's again. I'll say this. If whatever movie works for people, I'm happy that they
Yeah.
enjoyed it. I do struggle. I do struggle to find out. Like, I just don't know what people like about Halloween Ends. And this is no shot to you if you loved it. Like again, I'm super glad that
Yeah.
if you're listening, if you loved it, I'm glad it worked out for you. But for me, it's a no from me, dog. Um, can't do it.
Yeah, I
Can't do
know.
it.
Yeah, me neither.
So that's gonna wrap up our podcast and our top 10 list. We made it through an hour and a half later. I appreciate you coming on and sticking it out with me for an hour
Yeah,
and a half.
that was fun.
I'm not gonna lie, I wanted when I started the podcast, I wanted to keep every show about an hour and 10 minutes. I have
Hmm.
yet to do a show under an hour and 20 minutes.
Oh wow.
But I'm perfectly okay with that
Yeah.
because I don't like to really. I like a light structure to the show. I don't like to be on a time limit, and I'll just like let
Right.
conversation flow and just let things happen naturally. So again, for me that works. But I know I'm taking time out of your day, so I appreciate you coming and hanging out
Yeah,
with
of
me and being on the
course.
podcast. It was
I
super
feel like
super
you're
fun.
I feel like you're really good at that. Like I admire your flow in conversation. It's like always genuine. on this podcast.
Thank
And
you.
you are very well spoken and it just flows really well. And it's genuine, and that's what I like about it, about
Well,
your
thank you.
podcast.
I appreciate that. Definitely means a lot. So I know you have a lot of good stuff that you post on your Instagram page. Real quick, I forgot to bring this up. You've been busy as shit recently. Like you've been traveling and doing all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
Where did you go? Didn't you just go to Harry Potter World or Wizarding World or something
Oh,
like that?
okay. I have a pass to Universal Studios Hollywood.
Oh,
Um,
I want to go there so bad.
I love Harry Potter. And they have the Nope in the back lot. The Nope,
I
some
saw
of the Nope.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How was that?
So that was cool. It was cool. It was really fun.
Yeah.
So I mean, I did that, and then I was in NOLA. That was cool too.
Nice.
Yeah,
I know
busy
that was fun.
traveling, sightseeing. Yeah.
Well, good. I love that for you. I definitely love to travel as well. But I've always wanted to go to Universal, especially for the Harry Potter stuff. So that might be on the bucket
Oh, you
list for
like Harry
next year.
Potter?
I do.
What
I
house?
will say that I will. This is going to be
What house are you in?
controversial. Gryffindor.
Okay, same.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say Slytherin.
No,
I thought you were gonna say
I like
Slytherin.
Slytherin.
I get a lot of Slytherins, no lie. Like
Yeah, yeah, that's
I
true.
put it on my Facebook not too long ago, and I was actually kind of shocked at how many people said they were in Slytherin. I was like, oh, okay.
Mm,
Um, I will say I was super late to Harry Potter. Like I watched them all the way through for the first time probably about 3.5 years ago.
okay.
So
What
I
about the
was
books?
really,
Did you
really
ever read?
the first one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just not past
Okay.
that. So I plan to like I've ever since I watched them all the way through like 3.5 years ago, every year around like Thanksgiving and the winter time, I watch them all the way through. And every time I
Hmm.
watch them all the way through, I just love them even more. So I'm a Potterhead now.
Potterhead?
Yeah, Potterhead now. So I wasn't
Yeah.
like that before, but man, every time I watch those movies, maybe maybe I'll have to bring you on for a Harry Potter movie
Harry
ranking.
Potter one. I love Harry Potter. I'm so down.
Yeah, I've been thinking about doing that for a long time, but a lot of my close people like they just really, I don't know. I don't know if they would be interested in that. So, if that's something you'd be interested in, like sometime
Yeah,
next year, we'll definitely
let
have
me
to bring
know.
you back on for that. But again, Jess, appreciate you coming on. Before we
Thank
get off
you.
though, where can everybody follow you at, and anything else that you want to tag?
Well, yeah, thank you for having me. It was super fun. Anytime you want to talk about horror, I'm always down. But you could find me on my personal page at FinalGirlJess, and then my podcast. I'm still a noob, so bear with me. Final Girl Fever. You could find that also on what is it, Apple and Spotify. And then I post like nostalgic VHS finds and
Yeah,
on Final Girl Video on Instagram also.
love that.
So yeah.
Love that. All right. Again, appreciate you coming on. Everybody, make sure you go give Jess a follow on Instagram. And that's going to wrap up episode 32 of the Take One podcast. So for myself and Jess, I will see you on the next one.